I run the business development, like God said, at Plarium. We are the largest hardcore game developer on Facebook. Plarium is mostly known for our series of strategy games, which include Stormfall, Sparta, and Total Domination. We were also privileged to have won some awards for our games along the way. As we grow as a company, we also look for great and talented indies to develop, people with to invest or acquire, people with strong free-to-play games, preferably mid-core. So if you're awesome, come talk to us after the show. And let's start. So this is our list of indie and veteran games for today. For each indie game, we will start by showing a video of the gameplay, and for the more veteran games, it's less required. I'm sure you all know them. So first game is Click Click Boom. Oh, nice. We have a font problem here. So the top is supposed to be a nice font, but this one is kind of 8-bit. It will do as well. This was developed by Chroma Studios, and let's see if I can switch to showing you the video. Hopefully. I can. No. How do I do that? All right. So I'm not sure I can switch to the videos. Do you know how to do that? Because I'm right now in the view.
You'll have to go to the...
Let's try without it. Well, I'll walk you through the gameplay as we progress. So I want to start by talking about this loading screen for Click Click Boom. It shows an old monitor, and it doesn't really work with the game assets which you will see soon, or the game's experience. Now the monitor also has some buttons on it which are not clickable, and it's kind of confusing. I would suggest that the team considers changing the loading screen to something else. Levels here are pretty easy. So the gameplay is you need to click rows of 3 cubes of the same color, and then they disappear and become replaced. Now you have 22 turns for this. This is the first level, and remember that every turn takes at least 3 cubes, and you need to complete 30 cubes to finish the level. It's not a very good practice to allow players to complete the level without any chance of failing. Next, they use a Saga map, which Toad just mentioned, which is now pretty standard in puzzle games, but it still suits the game and sits well with the experience. Placing mystery box along the way works well to create motivation for the players to progress. Stars at the summary screen take quite long to fill up. I tried to measure it. It's something about 5 seconds for the stars to fill up. It's a bit too long, and the text should improve. Now, on one hand, this here tooltip is pretty good. It tells you how to win the power up, completing the color, and then the green girl's charging, and you can use her. But it also says that the game is not intuitive enough, because if the tutorial was good, there was no need for this tooltip. So I suggest they improve their tutorial. After using the green girl's power, you get more moves, and the counter also froze. But it would have helped seeing some sort of an animation going from the green girl to the counter on the top. In this level, I needed to activate a blue character. Now, clearly, I wasn't getting it right. If after 20 turns, I didn't even use it once, you see, it's 0 out of 2. Telling the user almost there is misleading, as I could easily play 20 more turns and not activate it. So I think they should detect player status and adapt the message. Neutrinos, which are the hard currency, cost up to $0.50 for 12. So selling a continue for $0.50 is much lower than what Candy Crush set at around 90 cents. And also, 10 moves are way too much. So when a player pays for a continue, it usually, since they are very close to completing the level, keep in mind that every turn here completes 3 cubes at least, they probably should not give away more than three turns per continue. Also, one more thing which is important for this genre to prolong is that sense of almost there, because after a player buys a single continue, they have a sense of investment. So they're already invested into the player, into the level. And if now they will need to, say, spend one or more continues to complete it, they will likely do so. The 3D shape here is actually very interesting and fun to play with, but they stopped at the spinning of it. So the cube turns all around, but you can only play when the cube lands on its facet. Now, the game would have been so much more interesting if you could stop right here and be required to create three-dimensional shapes and have unique puzzles based on that. Which reminded me of a game that was a big indie thing a few years ago called Fez. So this game is also 2D, but to progress in the level, you had to spin the entire world around and jump between the platforms, which created a real 3D feeling for a 2D game. So here, take a look at the store for the fun extras. I get one mystery box for 3,000 coins, but I seem to be getting another mystery box for liking the game, which is confusing. Maybe it's a placeholder. Also, when I click like, I went to a Facebook Connect screen, which was not what I expected, and eventually got 2,000 coins. So they should improve the texting over there. Next game, we have Tiny Gem Hunter, which was developed by Nathan Games. By the way, all of the indie games shown here are presenting downstairs at the Indie Prize Awards. Here, they have a sliding map mechanic. It's nice, and the graphics look good and appealing. They use Bell's accumulation, which is the equivalent of stars, to unlock new worlds. And it makes a lot of sense. Also adds to the discovery of the game because you want to complete enough levels to move to the next map. But look what happened when I tried to move on to the next map. I had enough stars, but the level was locked. The map was locked because I didn't complete the previous levels. So they need to decide between one mechanism of progression to the other. Both of them kind of contradict. There's a lot of text in this game, quite a lot, especially for its casual genre. However, with that much text, they should do a better work at localization. On the other hand, it's kind of cute how the girl wears eyeglasses as she teaches the player how to play. And it's also very good and straightforward and lets you understand the gameplay. Level design. So this should improve. There's no sense of tactics. You just go straight forward, kind of. And there's another problem with the dinosaur that you're throwing around. Its collision box is a bit larger than it is. So you're aiming at some point, but it usually stops by hitting a corner of another block on the way and goes to another direction. Take a look at Peggle by EA, PopCap. This is a game that does it very well. So wherever you aim, the ball will go directly there. After it hits something, it might do crazy things, but you always know its first pass. And in a game like this, it's important to have a sense of control. Now, look at those brown coins that keep falling. You can see them at the bottom of the screen. Right now, there's nothing to do with those coins. There's not even a tracking or a leaderboard or a high score of them. And maybe they planned on adding some kind of mechanic to use them later on. Right now, it's not present. And if they didn't have such a plan, they should probably take it off because it creates confusion. So some levels are limited by lives and others are by playing time. And every time the dinosaur falls, it walks ever so slowly back to the sorry for emphasizing it, back to the sling. Now, imagine the dinosaur walking so slowly when you have time limit on your level and time does not stop. You just curse the little thing. So I think they should either pause the time as the dinosaur walk or make it walk much faster. During gameplay, sometimes a treasure box appears randomly on the screen, much like it did here. And so one of the levels, I had very little time left. I was aiming at the last block, and the dinosaur flies, and there's 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second remaining, and then a treasure box appears right in the path. Dinosaur hits it and falls down. So I'm not very affectionate of these treasure boxes ever since, but I think they should create a mechanism that either prevents them from appearing in the last 5 seconds or prevent them from standing in the dinosaur's path as it shoots up. The only thing being sold in the game right now are shells, the hard currency, which can be used for continues and boosters. I think you can easily sell other dinos or dinosaur costumes, as well as paid upgrades, which will make the dino fly for a longer time, crash cubes more easily, and if you feel adventurous, you can even provide unlockable abilities such as crashing special blocks faster, metal, ice, etc. These abilities can be sold alternatively. In any case, look at the dialogue here. So I died and wanted to pay, but alas, I have no shells. So the developer just lost a great opportunity to sell. This would have been a point where I would have paid to get more shells, and no one should be passing away on this opportunity. Next up is Plants vs. Zombies. So this was fun. This is a great game. You all know it to some extent. It's a fun, light tower defense with a good sense of humor. There's a lot of text in it, but the text is well written. There's about 50 plants which are awarded for completing levels, and about 10 plants that are available for purchase, either directly for cash or a couple of them for hard currency. So in theory, you could grind your way to these 2 plants. There's a metagame Zen garden, which lets you plant seeds that grow into either coins or one-time boosters. Now, you see that it's not a very good picture because the bee is turning its ass towards us, but this cute bee over there pollinates the plants and reduces the time they need to mature. And it does so, and afterwards it goes to sleep until the next level. But I found out that if you click it, if you tap it, it kind of pushes you away, like it wants to continue sleeping. But if you rapidly do so for enough times, it wakes up and you can pollinate your next plant. So the patient grinder could theoretically pollinate their entire garden up to maturity without paying anything. And waking it up only takes 15 seconds. So I'm not sure if that's a good mechanic. I think it's eating away their monetization. Another game type requires you to break vases. Some of them have plants and some have zombies. There's not a lot of strategy to these levels, aside from waiting for the current zombie in lane to die before breaking the next vase. And you need some luck for the proper order to come in your favor. These levels monetize through selling of boosters. PopCap added time-limited events right here. I'm not sure if they had it before, but it appeared sometime after I started playing. So the first time you go at these pinata levels is free, and then you need to pay soft currency to retry. Event levels, again, rely on luck. You get plants coming up the rail and hope to get the right timing, placement, and zombies coming at you. It monetizes through booster sales and retire sales, but actually, this event is used for promoting and selling premium plants. So for one day, they let you tamper with those premium plants, and then they offer you to buy them. Sometimes with discounts, sometimes with not. And I believe it's a good storefront shelf to do so. When done, you get to choose 3 out of 16 piñatas. Only one of them contains new and unique plant costume, which is a vanity item. It seems like they missed on a good opportunity to upsell, because, for example, if they had shown you what you're about to win and then mixed up the piñatas to hide it, and you would have used your 3 attempts, then I believe many players would buy a few retries, and you should not sell the entire retries to keep a sense of skill. But for example, if you sell the first one for 2 crystals, and then the second retry would be more expensive because there is less piñatas left. So for 4 crystals, and maybe a last third retry for 7 crystals, you've taken away a lot of crystals from a player to try and buy a vanity item. And remember that it's only a trial. They still have less than 50% chances of succeeding. Another monetization point is via expansions which make sense for this type of game. So this is a limited event that I've encountered as well. A Yeti comes in and you have 1 chance to kill it to win prizes, which are usually vanity or a few coins. It's a little bit too easy, but it's a good mechanic nevertheless. What we think is missing in Plants vs. Zombies is a challenge mode that requires planning. So it seems that you could add a unique set of levels that require certain plants to win at. For example, you would have 3 to 5 levels, and you could either get those plants which are not obtainable in early levels, by buying them, unlocking them earlier on, or use a lot of boosters. Now, or be lucky and use other normal plans. If they would do so, they could throw small hints at you, saying something like, "If only I had something that would rain furballs on these zombies, etc." To direct you in the right towards the right plans. And the nice thing about it is that they don't actually sell the unique plant in the end, but they entice you to improve your arsenal to be able to acquire them, to be able to obtain them. Next up is Smash It Adventures, developed by Bika Studios. So look at this warning screen. This comes up whenever a game requires an initial download larger than 50 megabytes. Keep in mind that a lot of players are on a limited data plan and will never download something like that when out of Wi-Fi. And other players are simply deterred by any warning message and will automatically click cancel. So just having this warning screen takes away a lot of your downloads. Smash It right now is 52 megabytes, and I'm sure they can work to reduce it to under 50 megabytes. But for any games that cannot go below 50 megabytes, the best practice is to create a smaller downloaded version, which requires additional downloads down the road. Nice intro story being told via comics. And the gameplay is that evil things are coming your way, and you need to quickly tap them before they reach you. If you click on them while their mouses are open, you do kill them, but they get smeared all over the screen. And this task of timing the taps does add challenge to the game. But the penalty of having half the screen covered and being unable to click is frustrating and unpleasant. They should consider using a different penalty, such as screen vibrations, or maybe even having them explode if touched at the wrong time and letting the hero have this damage meter. If they do so, they could monetize increasing the damage caps for the player. Whenever you kill the monsters, small cute animals escape from their bellies, right here. And if the animals happen to match in color, you get that color power up instantly. And it's activated. Now, right now it's random, and you really don't understand where the power-ups are coming from as you quickly tap across the screen. I think they should somehow let the players know what colors are coming out of the monsters, and it would add a sense of strategy to the tapping. Also, in later stages when a lot of monsters are coming at you quickly, if you try to select the colors as you quickly tap, it will add stress in a good way, because you need to make quick decisions on how to proceed. Here I have a power-up activated that lets me kill creatures in a single tap, and if you rapidly tap a bunch of them, you get a combo counter, which is fun. When the monsters reach you, it's not the end. Rather, you can swipe back and right and left to get them off. So unless the monster is really strong, in which case you die instantly. I found out that I can pass almost all the first levels by just waiting for the monsters to reach and swiping them right and left, which is actually a hack. So I can hack my way across a skill game, which is not a good practice. If they consider the damage meter from a few slides ago, when the monsters reach you and take a bite at you, it would be an alternative solution for this swiping, and they could switch and use the swiping to kill different monsters later on and add another mechanic, which would add interest. Pretty straightforward summary screen. They have spells in the game which are being used to add powers to your hero. They are basically the same powers you can get from the cute animals. It's a good monetization technique, making everything unlockable but charging for fast unlocks. And notice that they do it right here, and they offer to sell crystals when the user don't have enough to make the purchase. So this is the only store item that is sold within the menus. The package has a lot of graphics, but very little text, and it's unclear what they're selling. Here, they have a pretty ordinary store that comes up when you click the plus sign on the coins. The structure is good, but notice that they sell gold and they sell crystals, which are sold for cash. But the largest gold pack costs almost 2 largest crystal packs, and I think it's a bad balancing. They should do it differently. Also, not sure what you could do with 2.7 million gold coins in a game where most actions cost between 10 and 30. So next one is a tower defense called Defend Your Life. This is a great loading screen with very strong graphics. I really liked it. Generally, the graphics in this game is very good. So it's you play your own body and you defend against contaminations coming in to get you. Menu is built well and is perfectly visible. Also, look at the level design and art. It looks very good. You have boosters at the bottom right side, and towers are upgradable into variable options. So for those of you who played Kingdom Rush or Evil Defenders, this is the same mechanic. This is a very good mechanic because it allows for discoverability and keeps the player engaged as they try to experiment with new types of towers and tower upgrades that unlock over time. Once you select a booster, there's a cooldown on its return. But they're using direct percentile view, which seems too accurate and not fun enough. So it might be more fun if they use a graphical representation for it. Level design is interesting and beautiful. Just love how the arrows are painted in blood colors of blue and red. This building here is like a gold mine. It constantly generates white pellets, which are used to create and upgrade buildings. In the first few levels, you cannot upgrade it, but I was able to sell it and then rebuild from scratch, which seems like a bug. They should probably either lock it or only introduce it at later stages. Even in fully zoomed view, the units are too small. Look at them. There is another problem with cluttering. So right now, these cops or soldiers are battling an enemy, and you can't really see what's going on, right? Where's the enemy? Where are your soldiers? So if they create a collision box around them, and the enemies would keep a little bit of distance, it will be much easier to tell what's going on. This is a store where players come to buy diamonds. Now, any developer wants its players to buy the larger packages, right? But I'm not sure it's a good practice to show a sad creature buying the small package. I mean, they still paid you money. Also, this is a tower defense game. The genre is notorious for having low conversion rates for paying users. And I would think that if you have convinced someone to pay you, the thing is with tower defense players is that they view grinding as a challenge and they view paying as cheating and hacking through the game. So if someone wants to pay, you really have a convinced person. So they should experiment with starting the packages at $5 and selling them up to $100. A few more points. Add price points. Current best practice is 5 or 6 price points in the store. And add a representation of why is it better to buy the higher priced packages. So you get more gems, you get a discount, but show the players why they should buy the bigger ones, not only being happy. This is the tech tree, for which you use pills, the equivalent of stars again, to buy upgrades. Our thoughts here are that the type of upgrades that they offer are limited and usually are around metagame and not the internal game. So we feel that they should offer many more upgrades than the total possible accumulated amount of pills. To add challenge and allow for monetization of pill packs for players that would want to progress faster, especially if some of the high level upgrades yield far greater advances. So for example, if you can upgrade the power of towers and the final upgrade will turn a machine gun into a laser gun, so that would be cool and could attract some players. Just saying. Next up is Candy Crush Saga. Right, so this game was a big challenge. King has done really an amazing job at creating a simple and intuitive game economy that is almost perfectly balanced. We examined it from various angles and managed to squeeze in a single upgrade that might improve the gameplay. We'll get to that later. So King took away the boosters from the original Candy Crush and kept only the crushing candy, which you can see here. The crushing candy is sold for hard currency. And so does the continues. I was intrigued by the recommendation engine. So the way it works is to suggest creating the strongest possible candy, but then it immediately suggests that you use it. So here's the recommendation going on. In the beginning, they're helping players make a good decision, right? So they're telling you how you could create a striped candy or a color bomb candy. But the next suggestion actually works against the best strategy, since special candies should be saved for key points in the level. It is also surprisingly hard to resist the suggestion. It is so far from mild, it blinks at you and lures you so strongly to make the move. I really had to resist myself from doing this silly move of wasting it on yellow candies over there. So what all of this tells me is that it seems like they reached a conclusion that players are enjoying the special effects of using special candies. And so they push players to enjoy the effects, but are not actually helping them to beat the level. One more note is the levels are now significantly more difficult than the first game, than Candy Crush. Candy Crush, the original one, had a wave-like balance of an easy level, medium level, hard level, easy level, hard level, very, very hard level, easy level again. And Candy Crush Soda kind of tumbles between hard, very hard, maybe medium, but hard again. So levels are much, much harder, and you progress much slower, like you suggested. So extra move are also sold for hard currency. And take note of how they mention the amount of bears remaining to beat the level. It works well to make a purchase more appealing, make you feel certain that you could complete the level if only you buy a single continue. Obviously, you usually end up with buying multiple continues, but it's a very good practice. So one more thing they changed here is they plug the invite friends button right below each level's leaderboard. Guessing that the notion is that players feel compelled to invite new friends when they encounter in-game friends. Hard currency packages are priced low. It makes sense for the casual genre and prevents the game from feeling too expensive. Now this is a great UI solution to show the larger scale map as a side menu while keeping the main map screen simpler, small, and easy to track. They use the side menu also to cross-promote other games from their portfolio. So even if you're looking at the map from here, you can still be exposed to their portfolio advertising. Okay, so let's move on to the humble add-on we think might work for the game. It seems like the game could use a good, entertaining experience through adding time-limited level, a simplistic form of live ops. In other games, live ops are usually run for the entire audience in parallel. However, King's games are progression-based, meaning that an advanced player experiences the game differently than a new one. They face different challenges, they tingle with different mechanics, and so we believe that live ops here should be personal and unveil upon progression. So let's say I reach this level, and suddenly the map around me changes, and a few new level opens up. There will be a timer for me to complete the levels, and when the timer nears its end, the game will alert me and remind me to complete them. When the time is up, the levels will lock and become inaccessible, which creates a sense of temporariness and becomes thrilling. So next time I'm facing such levels, I'm more likely to try and complete them in time. When I analyzed the original Candy Crush at Casual Connect USA last year, I suggested they will give unique and rare boosters as rewards for players for completing live ops missions. However, here, they took off all the boosters, probably since the game performs better without them. So without interfering with the game's economy too much, there is room, in our opinion, to add gamification and some vanity rewards to players. So if I have completed the entire live ops mission, I would get a cool crown for my avatar on the game's map, which is a cool incentive because everyone else sees it. Now, if I see someone owning a different vanity item that I want, let's say a cowboy's hat, and I come across a time-limited section that shows me that hat, I might find myself working hard and maybe even paying to complete those levels. Right. So thank you very much for being here. I know it's the end of the day, so I appreciate every single one of you taking part in this talk. If you have any questions, feel free. And if you are an awesome indie and want us to look into investing in you, there is Ronen sitting right here. Ronen, pick up your hand. Feel free to approach him and talk to him about your studio. All right, guys. So, thanks.